Hi there, and welcome to a new episode of RealLife DevTalks with me, Hannah, and David.
Hello.
And today we're going to talk about environments in the sense of the environment that you find yourself in and how it affects your mindset and just your perspectives and outlooks on things. To start off, we have two books that we found interesting. Would you like to give a short introduction, David, to those two books?
Yeah. So I thought like these two books are good to talk about because of the topic that you just discussed is about how the environment affects us, our mood, how we think, how we behave, and also, how potentially our future will be. And these two books I read called Willpower Doesn't Work and The Winner Effect. And especially Willpower Doesn't Work, it talks a lot about how the environment affects you. And I thought that was very inspiring. And now The Winner Effect, which I'm reading by Ian Robertson. And he also talks about now how the environment affects you. And that's why I think this is a really good topic, because it is very important. So the main theme of the book, Willpower Doesn't Work, is basically about, as I said, that the environment shapes our behavior. And also actually, like the title says, that having willpower and motivation is not at all the key to succeed in whatever you want. It's actually very important that you are, let's say you have where you live is a clean place. If you haven't even figured how to clean your place up, it's going to affect you how you think, and it's going to give you bad energy to you. And you're basically going to be down with no energy every day when you look at all this trash that you live in. That was just one example, but that's one of the things it talks about. And also how people you hang out with, if they're all negative, and they all bring you down and your thoughts down and say that's not possible, you can't do that, that's not a good idea, or whatever, it will also bring you down. So what else does it talk about? That was Willpower Doesn't Work, and we're going to get deeper into that. Then The Winner Effect is a little different. The main topic there is more how it's proven by studies that if you have small wins, it's much easier to get the ball rolling and get those bigger wins. So let's say you want to win a boxing fight. Now I'm saying that because that's where it had the studies. So let's say you want to be the world championship in boxing. If you say, I'm going to fight Mike Tyson and win over him, well, I mean, it's very unlikely you would do that. Even let's say you have the skills to do it, the confidence will not be there to do it because you don't have the track record that you won over others. So you're less likely to win over him because you don't believe in yourself. Where if you get small wins from others that are not that big, slowly, you actually have the confidence gained, and you're more likely, which the studies show, to win over him. To the bigger fights. And that's why you gotta have this flow of small wins. So let's say also you want to make a sale, like let's say you're a salesperson, just say you gotta have one little sale. Don't get those big shots, just go small. Even though you know you can, just start with that and then work your way up there, and that will help you. But that's the winner effect, and that's what it told about, is also how environment affects you a lot. There were studies shown that if you are at your home place, so they talk a lot about sports, so baseball and soccer and stuff. The soccer team that was at their home base, so at their home environment, it tended to win a lot more than when they were off home, like away from home. And that's because their environment shapes them, so they're like more confident, they're more happy, will believe in themselves when they're and comfortable when they're in their environment they know, which is another actually crazy indication how much the environment affects us. And that was the 2 books, and that's what we want to talk about now. I talked a lot about it already, but yeah. So
what is like one thing that is fairly easy, to implement in your life to have more awareness about your environment, to improve your environment that you're in?
Well, I think the easiest one, and this is also Jordan Peterson, he talks about this too, is basically just clean your room. And that's the first one. Like, make your bed, clean up your room, remove all the mess. Like, if you have some boxes or whatever lying around is dirty, just do that. Start with, that's basically where you're living and you're seeing this every day. Clean up your environment, because if you don't, it's going to affect you and you're going to feel bad, and you're going to, every time you see there's some dirty stuff or some boxes laying around, it's a big problem. If you can't solve that, then you can't, how are you going to solve your rest of your life during the day and be whoever you want? And that's a very easy first approach you can do, I would say.
Yeah, that's a good point, I think I also read something about having plants. Just having plants around also helps.
Plants?
Yeah, like close on your desk. It improves productivity.
That environment, yeah. Oh, yeah, that reminds me also, if the willpower doesn't work. So let's say you you play a lot of video games. You have a PlayStation lying there. You have your gaming computer, whatever. What's actually the best thing to do? So normally you would think, okay, I'm just gonna stop playing video games. I don't play video games anymore. But then you keep the PlayStation lying there. You keep your PC lying there. You have maybe your Nintendo Switch, everything ready, and it's very easy to access. It's very easy to just start and press that play button. It same goes for cigarettes. You could also say, like, it's very easy. If you have some cigarettes lying there, but you say, "No, I quit," but they're still lying there and ready to smoke.
Yeah.
So what he says with the video games, well, like, make things difficult. Make it difficult to access. Don't just sell your PlayStation. Have nothing. Don't have any gaming computer. Don't have any Nintendo Switch. Just remove the whole thing. So it's very difficult getting. Let's say you don't even want to sell it. Put it down in your basement. Put it away. Give it or not give or give it to a friend or give it to or your family. So it's very difficult accessing. So you can only access it when you visit your friend or family. Another thing he also talks about, which I definitely agree with, is if you want to be more healthy, don't have your donuts or some candy lying around at home, because a lot of us have like candy for Friday or Saturday, but if it lies there and it's ready to get eaten and very easy to access, you're gonna eat it. And you're going to play the video games when it's very easy to access the controller, when it's lying there on the sofa ready to, where you're going to sit and ready to play with a little quick, easy button turn on. And that's the same thing he says, remove all the food from the fridge, make it very difficult. And let's say if you don't want to remove it, if it's so difficult for you to remove it, or you don't want to sell your PlayStation, put it in another room. Like the same with the iPhone. The iPhone is very easy to go in social media and scroll and take away all your distraction. You don't want to sell your iPhone. You don't want to get rid of the iPhone. Well, put it in another room. Just that you put it in another room takes energy, takes time to go into that other room and get it.
I actually did a similar trick on my iPhone, because when you set up the iPhone, you get all these little icons on the start page, or whatever you should say, on the iPhone. So you can just press like the different symbols for the social media apps and things like that. But the way I did it is like I cleared all my home screen. I think it's called home screen. I cleared my home screen of all of these icons. So now I need to go in and search for it. Like I have like Spotify, I have messages, I have the little phone symbol to make calls, and that's it. The rest I need to actively go in and search for. And it actually added this extra step of being like, what am I doing now?
But that's a really good point. That's like the same. You make it difficult. The easy access. That's a really good point, because that's the same with the apps. Make it difficult. If you don't want to remove the apps, well, take them away from the home screen at least. Make your home screen also boring. Make it. Some even say like making it gray and white, so it's very boring to look at.
Yeah, I guess it's also true with the opposites, to say like the things that you want more of in your life, to make it very easy to do them. such as, having your workout clothes maybe around. Do they talk anything about that in the books?
Yeah, they talk about that too. So, like having it laying around. And another thing is, okay, you have it laying around and lying there, but maybe you want, now it's easy taking it on, and also the running shoes or whatever, your workout shoes. And let's say that's one step. Then you can take another step further. Let's say you still don't feel like going to a gym and all this stuff. Well, just say to yourself, okay, I'm just going to put it on. I'm just going to put my workout clothes on. I'm not going to go out. I'm just going to put it on. And then when you put your shoes on, you put your workout clothes on, but then you sit there. Well, okay, now I put it on. That was one small win. You just made one small win. Okay. Well, now I put it on. Let's just go to the gym. Okay, I'm just gonna go to the gym. I don't need to do anything. I'm just gonna go there. That's just one goal. Then you go there. Then now that's your second win. You're standing in front of the gym. Well, now I'm here. I might as well just do one workout. Okay, just one workout. Just one set, and then I do one bench, and then that you just can keep going like that, and then suddenly you made a whole workout.
You're making it like that's exactly the process in my brain when I'm running. It's like just 500 more meters and then I'll be done. Just 1 more kilometer and then I'll be
really
done.
good. It's a really good way to do it. It's something you should definitely do a lot more of in life. But one thing I also want to discuss about is, so the willpower doesn't work. He also talks about like having a car, and this is interesting, also from what your point of view is, because he talks about that if you have a shitty car that's broken, and a budget car, and it's barely working, and it looks ugly, and the interior is really bad, well, it's gonna affect how you think. I agree with that, but it's also gonna make you feel like it's gonna affect you. It's gonna make you feel like a loser, or gonna make you feel like like this is this, like you're what you say, like you can't think straight or whatever. It was now, it wasn't exactly how I said it, but it was, now I'm just saying as how I remember it. And then that's a good reason to have a good car, a good new, maybe not new, but even some say even expensive car. And that will affect your mood. Like that will affect you when you go into that new, let's say, expensive car. You're gonna think, oh yeah, I'm a winner. I can do this. Because I got this.
Borrowed all this money to get this car.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? But then that's affect your mood, because people are gonna say, wow, nice car, like all this stuff. And then you say, oh well, yeah, I have the nice car. That's me. I own this. And blah blah blah. And that's another point he has. Well, okay, and I actually see that. Yeah, that's a good point. That you can do the same with a house. If you live in a basement, that's gonna affect your mood. But what do you think about that? Like we can start with car, because the house is another topic too.
Yeah, what I'm thinking is that it depends on the person. A little bit about the framing of the situation, because like if you're a frugal person, for example, then you're like, you see all the wins in like, oh, I got this really good deal. I got this car that, that drives much longer than all the other car brands. Some of them have good reputations to be like more durable than others. So it's not just about, what is considered, an impressive, expensive car, but it's also about the quality of the car. Like it was a good purchase in that sense. I think it depends on the person, how different cars will affect their mood in that case. I don't think or at least the way you talked about it, I interpreted it as that you want to have this, BMW, Audi, like these very expensive, like fancy cars. But it doesn't need to be fancy. It can only be very like well made, well engineered.
Yeah, I can see that point. So if you are very frugal, you say, oh, that's a win. Look at this, I'm winning. I have this quality car that's can take me from A to B. It might not be the most expensive one, but it's quality. Well, it was good price, and it's making it work, and I'm happy. So, and I agree. Like I would never buy an expensive car myself. But one thing I would definitely start to agree on is where you live, because that's going to affect you. If you don't need to live in a huge house, beautiful and all this stuff, but it is what you're doing every day. I mean, it's the rooms, like how they look and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's important. But yeah, maybe it doesn't need to be an expensive. You could say that it doesn't need to be an expensive house. I mean, it could be out in the countryside. Or no, that will also affect you. That was another thing. That will also affect you, the environment, right? If you're out in the countryside, it can have a lot of benefits, but you can maybe feel alone also out there. So, yeah.
Yeah, but I guess maybe coming back to what I was saying before, I think that also depends on the person. But I think also a problem that people have is that we have one image of ourselves that is, this is who I think I am, and then there's what I actually am. Because you can have like this idea of yourself that you're a certain type of person who acts in a certain way and who likes certain things, but then in reality it's actually not at all like that. An example would be that, I'm a city person. I love like the city pulse and like the energy and the environment basically in the city. But then all day long you can walk around and you're just annoyed that there's so many people everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. That depends on the person. And if that city person went into the countryside, that's going to affect them a lot because the environment affects them. Yeah, so in that way I can see it depends on the person.
Yeah, but but my point was just that you can think that a certain environment is good for you, but perhaps it doesn't suit you at all. It's just what you think suits you. I think it's important to stop and reflect occasionally.
Yeah, for sure. And then that's how you should figure out like which type of person are you then? What's important to you? And if having an expensive car is very important to you, and that what's gonna change your mood a lot, well, get that expensive car because it's gonna change your environment. It's gonna change how you think. It's gonna affect in your work, how you do and perform, and whatever goal you have. But if you don't care about that and you care about living in a farm, you should go to a farm because that will make you change your mood and change how you think and all this stuff. So
yeah,
how do you figure out who you are?
Yeah, well, that's
and what you
$1,000,000 question, isn't it? Maybe to put this into more like a practical context, you work a lot from home, right? What kind of ideas have you had, or what kind of habits do you have around the environment that you work in when you're from home?
Having a good desk. That's good lighting, all the stuff, like green stuff. That's actually proven that you're more productive when you have like plants and stuff and green stuff to look at. Which again we're back to the environment thing again. It's all environment, like what you're looking at, what can even where you're placed, what room, how the room looks, all this stuff. It's now that we're talking about working from home. I can't remember the book, but I remember they also talk about, there was some entrepreneur. He takes it so seriously where he works that he had 2 places. So he had one to chill and be with family and relax and meditate, and another where he works hard and is doing his company and stuff.
Like homes? Or?
2 homes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So one, so the home was this on the US. I'll get back to it if I remember the book, but it was so the work home he had was very like there was not a lot to look at. It was very boring how his room was. I can't remember if he had any paintings or what, but it was all very plain and like nothing to distract you. So you could focus 100% on your work and not look at too much distractions and get distracted, procrastinate. What was it else? The lighting was very bright there. And that was it, at least what I can remember from that. And then his relaxed place, there was all kind of stuff, like lots of color and I can't remember the rest, but anyway, but the point was that he take it so seriously that he had 2 places, one for work and one for relaxation, and also he decorates how it is where he's sitting, because it does affect you so much. I mean, just take for example, if you probably work from home, or you were sitting at your home or in your bedroom, you tried to be productive, but you just couldn't. So what you go and do is go down in a cafe, and suddenly you're so much more productive because you're changing your environment.
Or then also maybe just taking a walk sometimes can just change your
That's
mind
also changing.
completely.
Yeah, that's
You just have just the walking also is somehow very helpful. I think to just kind of chew on a problem and process it a bit and think about it. Because when you sit in front of the screen and you're like trying to solve a problem, then sometimes it gets like very tense and very like stressful, and then it's nice to come out and walk a little bit while you're thinking.
Yeah. Also, if you have a conflict, this is also another good thing. Take them in another room. Like, of course, you try and figure it out first, but just taking them in a whole nother environment, like let's say you had a conflict for a long time now in one room. Say, okay, let's go outside, or let's go for a walk, or let's go in this other, lounge or whatever. And then just changing that environment will help a lot, because you're going out of all this history of lots of conflict, and they will, you're all changing the environment and thinking different. Of course, the conflict's still there, but it will lower the what do you say, conflict level, then to be more open towards each other. It's at least I tried this multiple times practically, and it works. And I also got this from book. I can't remember which one, but that's a good tip too, where how shows how the environment affects you so much.
I would like to remember I read somewhere that Steve Jobs was very fond of that, walking talks.
Yeah.
And at one point when I was a student, I had a job in an Apple store. And I remember that the manager there, she always did that. She always did walk and talks with you. So you would always go out and walk and talk about how it's going and all the stuff. I really like that. It's just nice to get away from the environment that you're working in when you're talking about your performance, because somehow it gets a little bit less, I would say, charged, the whole situation.
That's why you also see these podcasts or YouTube channels where they sit and drive and talk. So they sit in the car and talk. And I guess it has some magic to it that you're constantly changing the environment. Well, I guess you're still in the car environment, but you can see all different stuff, different places.
It's also interesting. Today we changed the furniture around in our living room, and it just feels like a whole new life all of a sudden.
It's really good to do that, like once in a while.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult when you live a bit small to rearrange, but just doing it, even though maybe the arrangement isn't perfect, helps a lot.
I took a small course a long time ago, and it was called Neuralistic, about your brain chemistry and how it works. And there was like some study where he talked about like just changing the environment, like we did, which you said, help boost brain activity, and help you, just be better at learning and whatnot. And like it just helps you, it challenges your brain.
Yeah.
And it just helps. It's like we all have these same routes we take to the supermarket, to work and whatnot. Just changing the route you take is also gonna challenge your brain and help it a lot to be better.
Yeah, I think. Well, maybe you can give your 3 takeaways for the listeners to implement in their own lives, perhaps.
3 takeaways. Well, clean your room.
Clean your room.
Think about how your environment is. Are you in a very dark room? I mean, the bedroom. It should always be dark. It's important to have a dark bedroom. But try and change where you work. If where you're working, make it bright. Change the environment up. Change your furniture up if that helps. Like if you can do anything to change your room up.
Take a different route to the supermarket.
Exactly. Take a different route to the supermarket. If you want to lose weight, you want to eat healthier, remove all that stuff from the fridge. If you can't, hide them somewhere, or make it difficult to access. Even you can put them in a wardrobe, put a lock on, and put that key to your parents or family, like friends, and then when you have to eat your chocolate, you have to meet them first and get the key, and then open the water, and then you have your chocolate. Make what's not good for you difficult to get.
Yeah.
If you have negative friends all the time pushing you down, or in your social circle, remove them from your life. Not totally if you someone you really like still, but at least think about it.
What environment are you in, I guess?
Exactly. Social circle environment, living environment, work environment. It's wherever you are, city environment. What city are you living in? What country are you living in? Country environment also affects you a lot.
Yeah.
It can change your whole life. What country you're living in?
For sure. Zooming out completely.
Yeah.
Well, we'll leave you to think about that.
What earth are you living on? Oh, okay.
I'm gonna cut you short there.
Move to another planet.
And we'll leave you with that. And stay tuned for next week's episode of RealLife DevTalks.
And check those 2 books out. They're really good. I'm not done with the winner effect, but I'll talk a little more in the next episode.
Possibly.
Yeah, we should have a book episode also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great idea. I'll link the books in the description.
Yeah, and if you're still here, thank you for listening a lot. Follow us, and talk to you.
See you.